Hi, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to share some of my favorite reading journal spreads, as well as some spreads that I might potentially want to try next year with my 2023 reading journal. So jumping right in, this is my test journal. So I use this to kind of do test spreads and see how I'm feeling about something, or as a reference to go back to and look at for a certain layout. So for my reading journal ideas, I've got this kind of title spread here so that I can reference back to it. And then my first two pages are going to be bookshelf pages. The one on the left is what I currently have going on in my existing reading journal. And then the one on the right is going to be kind of a floating shelf example. I've also got different ways to mark off the books noted here. So I've got a 1 through 5 rating with different colors for each rating. And then below that, a method red color coding. And then I would color in the bookshelf based on either the method or the star rating that I give the book. And then over on the right hand page, I do have the option to just color in a book to mark it off and then number the book as I finish. I also have a washi tape example to just kind of fill in the books with a chosen washi tape. So basically I just place the washi tape over the book and then use my X-Acto knife to cut out the shape of the book. This last shelf at the bottom is just a to be read shelf. I actually want to do this at the beginning of my August spread, so I just put it in here so I have something to reference back to. My next page here is going to be a Goodreads goal tracker, or just a goal tracker in general. This first row is going to be a square regular tracker. This is what I'm currently using in my reading journal. The next row is just a banner method, circles for the following row, and then the last row that I have, they're actually leaves. So I wanted to have an option that would be more decorative in here, just as a reminder to myself that if I wanted to do a specific theme for my yearly pages, then I can also make my goal tracker a specific theme. Below that, I have a books per month tracker. I thought that this would be really cool to have in the beginning of my journal, just to kind of reference and see how many books I finish each month. So then I'll just kind of fill in how many books that I read each month in the form of a bar graph. And then I'll be able to see overall what it looks like. The following page is a 5-star reads page. This can also double as just a books finished spread, or really anything where you're just keeping track of the cover of books. This spread is actually not one that I currently have in my journal, so I wanted to have it in here for myself as a reminder that I should do this next year, because I do regret not having it. The book sizes that I have outlined on this 5-star read spread is 5 spaces by 7 spaces. However, I would recommend doing 5 spaces by 8 spaces. As of right now, I am having to trim down covers in order to fit that spacing size. These next 2 pages are both going to be for the A to Z challenge. I wanted to have 2 different options. The one on the left is currently what I'm using in my existing reading journal, and I really love it. I think it's adorable and just very aesthetically pleasing, but I do find that the boxes for longer book titles are a little bit small. So on the right hand side is another option for me next year. if I want to have more space to write book titles. These next 2 pages, this next spread, is going to be my backlog spread. I do have a physical backlog spread in my journal now, but I do not have a spot for my digital backlog. So I wanted to implement that in my test journal, just so next year I do remember to add a digital portion as well. This is actually my favorite test spread that I did in this whole setup. So on these 2 pages, I did add 2 columns per page. I do find that in my existing journal, I am running out of room very quickly. So I thought that if I had 2 columns per each section, then I would have a little bit more room, because I do add books to my backlog list as soon as I download or purchase them, just so that I've got an accurate representation of what my backlog is. On this next page is my recommended page and my upcoming releases page. I do currently have a recommended in my existing journal, but the difference here versus what I've currently got is that I have a source column on this recommended page. I noticed that when I write down books on my recommended page, usually from TikTok or YouTube or something like that, I don't have a place to put where I heard about the book or who I heard about the book from. So I wanted to have an area that I can reference back to in case I wanted to go back to that creator's profile and see if they had any other recommendations that I could take and write down and add to my list, especially if it's something that I really liked. The next page, the upcoming releases page, is one that I do not have in my journal, but I do find that as I am looking through books and listening to other YouTubers, TikTokers, stuff like that, I don't have a place to put any upcoming releases. So I wanted to add this spread in here so that I will have a reference for when I do my 2023 journal, so that I have a place to check back for sizing and ideas and stuff like that. This next page is a did not finish. I did not think that I was ever going to need a did not finish page. Normally, I do not start reading a book if I can't finish it. I will push through books. This year, as soon as I started this journal, I had my first do not finish. I do plan to go back and try and finish it, but here we are. So I wanted to have a place to keep track of those books, along with the reason why I did not finish the book. This last page is a book of the year page. This one is not in my journal because I actually want it to be at the end of my journal. So I figured that I could go ahead and do a test spread in my test journal, just so I've kind of got an idea when it comes around that time for me to actually go ahead and put that information all in and pick my book of the year. I thought that it would be nice to have it as a kind of segue to the end of my 2022 reading journal, to have it at the very end of the journal, instead of having it up at the front with the rest of my yearly spreads. So I've got 6 books versus 6 books, and then the remaining 6 books, each 3 will verse each other, and then the final 3 will verse for the final book of the year. That is actually the last page that I've got in this journal so far, but I was also considering adding a subscription tracker example, series tracker example, and an ARC read example. And let me know if that would be something that you'd be interested in seeing. Let me know if this video is something that you like. I do have a couple more ideas that I could bring into fruition. But that is all that I have for today. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and a great week coming up. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time.